I can encourage anything from this video, it's like, you know, take care of yourself physically and take care of yourself mentally. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm sitting down. This feels very old school to like sit and chat and do a talk through video with you guys, but I'm excited. I mentioned in my last video that I wanted to make more of a focus on like health and wellness and just share some of the things I've been doing lately, and that's what today's video is all about. In case you are new here or just returning and need a reminder, I am a busy mom of 4. I have 4 kids, 7 and under, and I love everything from fitness to styling and plants and books and health and wellness and social activities with friends. And this year I'm really focused on finding kind of like my village and my community and just taking the best care of myself inside and out. I just turned 35, and so I feel like this is top of mind now more than ever. I shared on Instagram a couple of weeks ago or earlier in the month some of the ways that I focus on my mental health and things that I do to kind of revamp when I'm feeling like I need a pick-me-up. And this video is kind of along the same lines, but I'm also going to be talking about physical changes and things physically that I've been focusing on this year. I went into 2025 with some goals in mind, but nothing too crazy. I really wanted to focus on finishing some writing projects I've been doing. I wanted to start going to a yoga class because I've never done yoga classes in person, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. And I wanted to run a marathon. I've done all of those now. So again, I kind of feel like this year is just like the year of putting in that additional focus to being my best self inside and out and in my relationships and everything. So first and foremost, that brings me to my number 1, which is working out. I have talked about like fitness and working out for years. If you've been following me for a little while, then you know that that is not something that's new to me. That is not a 2025 Olivia thing. That is like a 2005 Olivia thing. I started doing Peloton workouts in 2020 and just like fell in love with everything about them. The bike, the treadmill, strength training classes, yoga, you name it. I've been doing that consistently and kind of obsessively in a good way for a few years now, and I love it. It's really made such a big impact on structuring my fitness, structuring my workouts, and also learning new things and challenging myself. The one thing that I feel like is kind of missing with that for me is community. And this year I've really felt, you might see my pup here, but this year I really felt like I need like a tribe. I need people to lean on. You know, I think we're all kind of feeling a little more like isolated or wanting friends and family, especially if you don't have family nearby like me. And I wanted to kind of put myself out there more and start going to yoga or Pilates classes or something like that in person. So I put it on my vision board for 2025 that was something I wanted to do. And then a couple of months later, our local yoga studio started offering free classes twice a week. And my girlfriend and I were like, perfect, let's try it. Long story short, I fell in love with the yoga studio, fell in love with the routines. I do like a hot yoga sculpt class, and so it's a really great workout, and it's time for me to get out of the house and have some girl time. It's just been so life-changing, and it's a local studio, so it feels very like community built in our town. And the reason I share this is because it's totally something that I would have been afraid to do years ago. I would never have put myself out there to work out in front of people and do things that I don't know. Like, I'm not a super flexible person. I like lifting weights and spin class, and I didn't know anything about yoga, and now it's like a part of my weekly routine that has truly become a highlight of my week. I share that to say, like, challenge yourself physically, try new things, challenge yourself socially, and try new things, because you will find it is so much more rewarding than just a physical release. It actually is very internally fulfilling as well. Along those same lines, I ran my first marathon this year. I knew nothing about running or race training at all going into 2025. I actually started training for running the week of Christmas in 2024, so I'm only 7 months into it, but it has also become just a part of my life. It's like therapy for me. It clears my head. It's such a good physical workout. I love like being able to challenge myself and push myself and have measurable goals, and it's also time consuming, so it's just something for me, you know, outside of being a mom and a wife and a household caretaker. It's like just something that is just benefiting me, which is fun, and in turn it then benefits you know, my relationships as well. I ran my first marathon in May. I'm coming off my second half marathon now, and I'm already looking for more races. It's just been so much fun to do. So, you know, under that umbrella of fitness, like working out, it can look like anything. It doesn't have to be high intense Pilates classes at, you know, a super expensive club. It doesn't have to be anything specific that you see other people doing. It can truly be something that is specific to you, that fulfills you in a way that makes you feel amazing. Like that's the number one goal. And that can be walking with your stroller with a weighted vest on, or that can be doing yoga classes in your living room on the floor, which I've also done with my toddler running around me. As long as you are moving your body and getting that health benefit and mental health benefit as well, you're golden. The second thing that I've been doing is really focus on taking my vitamins and taking my medications, because sometimes we can fall behind on those things, you know? I'll talk about medications in a moment, but I have like kind of a routine in the morning of different vitamins that work for me. And one thing that I added in recently is a probiotic. I've heard about probiotics for years and I've never actually like taken the step to have it be a consistent part of my routine until now, when I found and heard of Seed. This part of the video is sponsored by Seed. They are such a cool company that I'm excited to tell you guys about. And what's funny is that when I got this package, also just side note, when I got this package and Jordan saw the box on our countertop, the box, which is a welcome kit that is fully compostable and recyclable, by the way. But when he saw this box on our countertop, he was like, oh, Seed, I love them. They're a client of mine at work. So it's just like, oh, love all around. So anyways, if you haven't heard of Seed, they are not only a probiotic, but also a prebiotic. And this product is called their Daily Symbiotic, the DS-01 Daily Symbiotic, because it's a blend of both. It's super unique compared to other probiotics out on the market. Unlike other probiotics, the DS-01 is engineered to survive. If you didn't know this, probiotics are actually live bacteria that are good for your gut health. They're things that help us. But the problem is that most probiotics don't survive the journey through digestion. So as they're moving down through your system, stomach acids will break them down and actually mean that they're not able to be absorbed and therefore benefit you as best they can. DS-01 Daily Symbiotic has actually been clinically tested to make sure that it survives and is viable. It's one of the reasons that it works so well in that way is because it actually has a double capsule system. What that means is that they actually use a capsule within a capsule. Open it up here, you can see there's another one in there. So it's protecting the 24 probiotic strains that are inside. This is just so cool, you guys. I'm such a nerd for this stuff. See? And so it's going to make sure that this gets into your system properly. The DS-01 actually delivers 20 times more live probiotics than the leading green powder that's on the market. I feel like there's a lot of talk about gut health right now. There's actually a whole like gut mania movement. If you look it up, it is trending all over social, and for good reason, because if you learn anything about gut health, you learn how it's connected to everything. Obviously, number one, digestion, but because of that, it's also going to help with bloating. It's going to help with your skin health, like your gut health is connected to your skin health. It also helps with heart health and immune health. It's going to support a healthy heart. It's going to support balance of good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. For me personally, it's super important because I am, like I said, a very busy mom. I'm very active. I want to make sure that everything internally is operating properly and as healthy as possible, but also for longevity. I need to be able to have energy. I need to be able to feel my best, and I want to be able to live as long and as healthily as I can. We actually lost my father-in-law last year to colon cancer, and so colon and gut health is something that's very top of mind in our household. It's super easy to work into your routine because they actually advise that you take it on an empty stomach. So I take one just first thing when I wake up in the morning before any coffee or food, and that's going to help make sure that it's absorbed properly. Also, these glass jars are such a hit. I love when brands do this because you end up getting just a pouch to refill them with, and then you can keep using the same glass jar over and over again, so it's more eco-friendly and less wasteful. And then in the kit, the welcome kit that they send you, they also send a a travel jar too. I, of course, have a code for you guys too. So Seed hooked me up with a 25% discount, which is huge. So if you use the link in my description box, and I'll put the code information right here, use my code OLIVIAZ25 for 25% off the DSO1 Daily Symbiotic at Seed. Once you are all set up with your first delivery, you can actually set up for a subscription and just have it delivered to you reoccurringly, which I love because your girl will forget about things sometimes. Like I said, that's why I'm really focused on having a routine with my vitamins and medicines, and it makes a big difference. Along those same lines, moving into the other medicines that I wanted to talk about. So I have realized over the last year that this phase of my life that I'm in, being a medical mama, being a mom to 4 young kids, balancing a lot of life and personal things, antidepressants have been literally life-saving for me. And I feel like it's definitely something I've talked about on this channel but it's not something that I deep dive into too much because I never want to seem like I'm pushing it. But to share my story, something that, has impacted me positively, taking an antidepressant and anti-anxiety medication this year has just been so balancing and like healing for me. I think there's still some stigma around it, and even from people I know, you hear about like, oh, I don't want to go on medication, or I don't want to take anything I don't have to, but sometimes you have to, and that's okay. And so I wanted to share just in a way of like normalizing it, and also letting you know that like if it's something that no longer works for you, don't do it. If it's something you feel like you do need, then do it, and feel no shame in that, because I think especially right now, it's a time when people need as much support as they can get, and that's what I view it as. It's just support, and it's something that helps me be my happiest, most level-headed self. So taking my vitamins, probiotics, my medication, again, making sure I'm taking care of myself inside and out. The third thing that helps me out is reading. I love a good book, and my reading has been slacking over the summer, I'm not going to lie, but for me, it's such a good escape, and it also is something that like helps me stay creative, helps me stay in my head in a really good way that's healthy, being appreciative of little things of life, feeling validated and seen about different, family dynamics or life feelings, whatever it might be. I just love a good book, and I recently joined a book club with some of the moms at our elementary school, and I'm super excited for it. So I think that's something that can help, give you a hobby that's not super time consuming or demanding, and also be a way to find community and make friends. And if you don't know anyone at your school who's doing one, or you don't, maybe you homeschool, and there's definitely lots online. Beatrice and Bubbly is an account I love and follow on Instagram. She does a lot of like virtual book clubs where you can find things by your local area. So I'll link that in the description box as well too. She's great, but a book club is a great way to find community and that fulfillment, but also just reading is like such a nice escape sometimes when you need it. The 2 books I'm reading right now, I'm kind of doing like a self-led tandem read because I started the Summer Storms, which is like a perfect summer read. It's got like some complicated family dynamics, it's got some romance, it's like a little bit of everything, and I'm really enjoying this. But then for said book club that I joined, we are currently reading The Favorites, which this is like I, Tanya meets Daisy Jones and the Six. It reminds me of that, but like set in an I, Tanya skating, figure ice dancing skating situation world. But these are the 2 I'm reading right now and really enjoying them. Another thing I've been doing lately, and this is probably going to sound a little bit surprising considering where I started with this channel of mine, but I've been trying to put extra effort into getting ready every day. This is something that's not going to apply to everybody, but for me, I'm somebody that I feel so much better when I have, like, it's going to sound very vapid, but when I have like a cute outfit on, I've got my makeup done. Today my hair was a hot mess, and so I just did like a slick back bun, but just putting like a tiny bit of extra effort in daily is, one, helping me feel like I'm worth it. Like, hey girl, you will get your kids dressed in the day, you can get yourself dressed, or you are going to pack lunches in the morning, think about what you're eating yourself. Those little moments, it just helps me feel like I'm taking care of myself too. But 2, you just feel good. I feel put together. I feel like whatever the day and wherever it takes me, I feel confident taking it on. I might get a compliment on my outfit while I'm out, and that's like a nice pick-me-up. It's just like something very small, and I've noticed I feel so much more productive and like ready to tackle what comes my way when I've got on like a face in an outfit. So, you know, obviously not an everyday thing, but I'm trying to just like, I feel like I went a really long time with buying cute clothes and trendy things, and then I would save them for special occasions, and then those special occasions never came, and in the meantime I was doing like jeans and a t-shirt every day, and that's great too. That's like my favorite outfit, but I ended up just feeling like I kind of lost my sense of style. And for me, putting together outfits is something I get a lot of enjoyment out of. Like, it's a creative outlet for me, and so I'm trying to get that creative outlet back instead of losing that, you know? Again, obviously that doesn't apply to everybody, but for me it's made a really big difference, and sort of like rediscovering myself in this next era post pregnancy and toddlerhood. Another thing I definitely wanted to mention, kind of back to the conversation about medication, but is therapy. Therapy has been life-saving and so helpful for me. I've had the same therapist for over a year and a half, and she's just been so helpful for me in working through things, not just from the NICU, but from my entire life. Like, things that you don't realize why you are a certain way or why certain things bother you, and to be able to talk through it with an objective party and somebody who's educated to give you proper ways of handling that is just amazing. It's a tool that I think everybody should have, and I know it's not always accessible. I did find a therapist that's covered by my insurance, and so it's been much more feasible for me, and I will link that resource of how I found her in the description box, because I think a lot of people don't realize that some therapists do take insurance, and at that point, like, you might pay copays or whatever, but it's just kind of like a weekly reoccurring thing. I also think there's a stigma with prioritizing therapy, and you hear people who will say things like, oh, girl needs therapy or whatever. And my thought is often, yeah, she does. So do I. So does everyone, you know? I know a lot of people who need it and are not in it. So I think if I can encourage anything from this video, it's like, you know, take care of yourself physically and take care of yourself mentally, because you can't take care of anyone else until you have taken care of yourself. And therapy is one of those ways that is really going to support you in knowing what best you need, what you need best, what most you need. You know what I'm saying. Something else that I have really been focused on lately is decluttering and giving. I have a lot of things, from making content online, from shopping myself obviously, but also being gifted things. I have just like a lot of stuff, and I don't need it all. And so I have really been enjoying like doing more donations lately, trying to, you know, with my kids growing up and out of certain phases, we have a lot of toys here that no longer mean anything to them, but they could mean something to another kid who's just entering that phase. And so I try not to throw anything away unless it needs to be thrown away, obviously, but clothes, toys, household items, anything like that, I really want to give a second life to. And so I do donation pickups, which I will also put the link to with the service I use in the description box down below, because they just come to your house and pick it up, which is amazing. It makes it super easy. And then second of all, I also have been using our local Buy Nothing group on Facebook. If you haven't heard of the Buy Nothing Project, it is an organization that is meant to, one, create community, so you get to know your neighbors, you get to learn who lives around you. It's almost like a next door for just reducing and reusing items. So say you're gonna go get a new bike for your kid. Instead of just going and dropping money on that bike, you can say, hey, does anybody have a toddler bike that they're not using anymore? And then somebody nearby you probably does, and you just swing by and pick it up. And I have gotten some amazing items on Buy Nothing myself and met the loveliest people when I go to pick up the items, but I also give a ton of things on there, and things that have just been sitting around my place that I want to go to somebody who will really appreciate and use them. And that Facebook group connects people to do that. It's not in every town or every city, but sometimes they'll have them like by county or whatever it might be. But if you look on Facebook just for Buy Nothing near you, you can probably find one, and it's just the coolest thing. It's also just fun to like browse and see what people are putting up there or see what people are looking for. I have given like birthday party decorations. I've found a woman once who, her mother had cancer, and she was loving freshly baked sourdough bread at the time, and so I made her a loaf of bread, and things like that just like fill your soul, like they fill your heart up and are so good for you, and also you're giving back at the same time. And I think promoting that kind of kindness and just thinking of other people is super important. So I wanted to share it. Just check it out. It is like the coolest, most fun local community building thing. The second to last thing I have is get outside. Getting outside is going to help you physically and mentally. Something about fresh air, sunshine, vitamin D on your skin, or just walking, like I mentioned earlier, with a weighted vest, doing stroller walks, listening to an audiobook or a podcast. Just get out of your house. Like, I feel like I am a totally different person inside my house than I am outside of it. And it's so helpful in just resetting and getting a change of scenery and getting fresh air. But also you can get a workout in and get physical and mobile in that way. Like, I always feel so connected to nature when I'm outdoors, and my therapist told me about the concept of grounding as well, which I know is kind of like buzzy and trendy too, but if you stand outside with your feet in the grass barefoot, the idea is that you can actually connect your energy to the energy of the earth and, you know, feel empowerment and like re-energizing that way. I don't know, but it's something that people swear by and something my therapist recommended to me, so I thought I would share it with you. Additionally, I've read studies about something called the blue mind theory, which is when you watch a body of water, specifically the ocean or any kind of waves or movement, it actually can like clinically bring down your stress levels, reduce anxiety. It induces this feeling of calm and peace in your body, which I 100% agree with every time I'm watching the ocean. And I'm somebody who I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that more than once in a blue moon, but every time I'm doing so, I can feel like stress leaving my body. It's just so good for you. So get outside and watch some water. Even better, get in the water. Okay, and last but not least, my tip for taking care of yourself and everyone around you really is to practice 20 to 30 second hugs. So I read about this study. I can't exactly remember the information on it to quote it, but I'll put the info here. But it was a couple who's been married for like ever, like a man in his 90s. And he said that they would practice 20 to 30 second hugs or 20-second hugs because it allowed them to like rebuild that connection, to get time with each other, to have physical touch, and just like take a moment. And I guess studies actually back that and can show how it can decrease your stress. It can help promote relationships and happiness. It can create more of a connection with those around you. And our family actually extended it to like a 30-second hug. So we started as a 20-second hug, and then our family would start doing by 30 seconds. So we'll hug the kids or hug each other, and we actually count to 30. And it's gotten to the point where our kids, like Christian will come up and he'll be like, "Can I have a 30-second hug?" And then he sits there and we go 1, 2, 3, and we count to 30, and it is just the sweetest like reset. You know, you leave feeling just so much better. And I shared that on Instagram, and one of you guys was like, even better, at Disneyland, the princesses and the characters are told that if a kid gives you a hug, you can't let go until they let go and they end the hug. And so that's what I'm doing now with my kids. I just hug them for so long until they let go and they end the hug. And it's just such a sweet, like just rebalancing thing. So I hope these tips gave you a little bit of encouragement. Let me know if you'd like a part 2 or any other topics that you'd like me to expand a little bit on. It's fun to just kind of sit down and chit chat and not feel like I have to like vlog my chaotic life that doesn't usually allow me to do so. So any other videos that you guys would like me to sit down and chat through, give me all the ideas you have. And again, don't forget to check out Seed and use my code OLIVIAZ25 in the link in my description. That will give you 25% off of the DS-01 Daily Symbiotic. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Was that annoying? I feel like that was like, I would do that to my kids and they'd be annoyed, so